What's up, YouTube? I'm Christian, and I just bought a big box up the stairs. But what is important is what's in that box. So let's go ahead and have a look. Just pick myself up one of these Dremel. So let's see if you guys can start picking up on what I'm putting down. Next thing should pretty much give it away, and that's gonna be. So we've got the heads. These are gonna be the heads off the VQ, the original VQ, the VQ that's in the 350Z right now without the heads. So the heads that came with the VQ that I bought off Sebastian, those were Dunzo, too warped. So these actually ended up being flat, if you remember. So those came out good. The plan is to port and polish them. I already have port and polish intake manifold. I did that myself, and it took freaking forever. So I already know I'm getting into something that I'm probably going to end up hating myself for later. But the heads are off. It was such a bitch to get them off. If I don't do this now, when am I honestly going to get the chance to do it to my car? Keep in mind that the whole point of this whole rebuild is so I wouldn't have to take it apart again. So I just know it's like steady and it won't give me any problems. So it's going to be a bitch. I'm going to hate myself probably like less than halfway into it. But alright, so I've probably been at it for about, I'd say about an hour and a half, not a little bit longer. And I'm only one head through, and I haven't even started porting, so all I've done really is get the metal wheel, that one, and it's pretty done right now. So I have another one for the other head, but I'm only one head through, like I said. So I'm just gonna show you guys. Oh, by the way, I should mention ARP head bolts and Cometic metal gaskets. That's what I'm running. Gonna make sure everything's reliable and running great. That way I won't have to tear it again, apart again anytime soon. Alright, so this is the exhaust. I mean, it's not perfect, but considering that's the exhaust, that's pretty damn good. Intake's about the same, if not cleaner, and combustion chambers cleaned off. So this is no sanding, just a wheel. It doesn't damage or take away any of the metal. But that's the next step. I'm going to give you guys a comparison. I still have the dirty head. I don't have a garage, so I got to work with what I got. So literally, it was all black. This is actually the same. This is the exhaust side, which is dirtier than the intake side. So as you can imagine, all black. So before we're actually going to start sanding anything away, we gotta make sure it's all clean to the surface. We'll give the sanding wheel a good, nice, even surface to rub against, so we don't have little pits or anything. Plus, tomorrow I'm actually gonna be taking out all the valves, so it's gonna be making the sanding process easier and putting in. I'm not even gonna try. I have no idea where I put them. I'll find them. But the JSC power valve seals, Cometic gaskets, ARP head bolts. Time to keep on going with the sanding. That's going to take me about another 3 days. Alright, so I did skip a lot, but believe me, you guys did not miss out on anything at all. What most of this process is you sitting, staring at the same thing for, at a time, probably 2 hours until you start the next thing. And just that's it. Just holding it, looking at it, inspecting it, doing the same shit over and over again. So you didn't miss anything out. The intake port, see, it's a lot cleaner. Used to be all black, just carbon. Combustion chambers, and yes, the valves are out. That's because, as I mentioned earlier, the new valve seals are going in. I did kind of skip it out. It's because it's a 2-man process. My friend was on time. This is the tool that I use to take the valves out. This side goes on the valve. This side, that's the socket on it, goes on the top of the valve. Squish it, take out the locks, keep it in a bag, organize everything. And so right now I'm just taking out the last of the valve seals on this head, and after I do that, then we can actually start porting it out, and we'll get into that. But that's what I mean by you're not missing out on anything. It's just this. Probably can't see shit, but that is the one burnt valve seal. Definitely was burning oil Filled the whole head, and we're going straight into the trash because we have these mint new ones. So it took a long time, but I just pulled out the last valve seal. So finally those are all out. It's super messy in there, so I just sprayed it down with a lot of brake clean, like a lot of brake clean, and I'm gonna let them soak now. And by the way, yeah, I know this is jank, but get them extra clean, then we start polishing and porting. Alright, so hours in, this is where I'm at. I'm finally pretty happy with the port on the intake sides. So I have the stock head right here for comparison. Mainly these sharp edges and all of this line within it. Smooth down, round it out. A lot more space for air. Smoother, so air is gonna have less turbulence around against it. But what I did notice that was really interesting is when I was gonna start on the exhaust side. So when I was gonna start on the exhaust side, what I noticed is, so essentially what you do is you use the gaskets as like a guide for the porting. So I put on the exhaust manifold gasket, and considering it's probably a squish a little bit when you tighten it, there's not really a lot to port. So I think on the exhaust side, I'm just pretty much going to stick down to taking off the casting marks on the inside, which are kind of already done on that first one. So I'm just going to keep on going through these, just take out the casting marks, get it shiny on the inside so carbon's a little bit harder to stick onto the sides, and get to the combustion chambers after that, and then we could start on the second head and do all of this all over again. Yay! Alright, so it's technically Tuesday morning of May 23rd, 1 a.m. Have to have the build done by the 1st. Tomorrow I'm bringing these in. Valve seals and valves are going back in, but I still need to actually just finish the 120 grit on the exhaust. So I still gotta do that for one more head. 120 grit both of the imports, or intake ports, and 120 grit the combustion chamber. And it's 1:16 a.m. Late hours, man. Alright. It's 3:30 a.m. Tomorrow we're gonna be putting the valve seals in, and I finished the intake. Alright, so pretty much we got one of the heads done, which means intake and exhaust ports, 120 grit with the Dremel, and the combustion chamber sanded with 600 of wet sand. And I did use the 120 on the Dremel, but very careful with it. Most of it's probably the wet sand. So intake and exhaust ports and the combustion chambers are done on one. Intake and exhaust ports are done on other. I'm thinking about just going to sleep and doing the combustion chambers tomorrow morning, because this is too much. I'm just about to pass out. So I'm just going to call it a night, wake up early, do the combustion chambers, get the valve seals in, do all that good stuff, put the valves in. What I'm concerned is the locks. That's going to be such a bitch. But I don't know, we'll figure it out. Whatever, fuck it. That's tomorrow. Today. In like a couple hours. Maybe I should just film on my phone, honestly. Hey, let me know if you guys think I should just film on my phone. The quality is way better, because iPhones do come through with mini cameras, I will say that. So yeah, the keepers, that's what I was trying to think of. These are the keepers. So tomorrow, essentially it's just like, almost imagine it kind of like a chisel that fits perfectly right there, and then you just kind of hammer it down so it pushes it down and it doesn't let them wiggle around on the valve, so it'll just stick in place. Smack them all in. So now it's Wednesday, May 24th. I actually didn't realize it, but 2 days ago marked me having my Z for 4 years. And it's funny because it's probably only ran like a year and a half. Anyway, so I put it all roughly together just so that the keepers don't go flying around, but the plan for now is we're going to load these up, take them to Victor's house, and then we're going to put the retainers and the keepers back on. And I have until next Friday to have the engine built. So we're on schedule. You know, that's a little bit of weight off my shoulders. I don't think slapping everything together is going to be too hard. I am getting a new tensioner, timing chain, primary and secondary, and all the guides, and that should be coming in the mail tomorrow. And then there should be clean mint ass engine. For anyone with a Z that is doing a valve job, I will warn you, if you don't have a spring compressor for the valves, the one you get at the parts store, this basic one, won't work. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb and I don't know how to use tools, but it didn't work for me. Anyways, let's go ahead and load this second head up. Look at that technique, and they're in. What are you even using? Where's the box of the thing, though?
The fucking hollow center punches.
These?
Yeah.
That's so hood, but if it works, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Alright, so you probably can't see shit because it's dark out. But I'm leaving Victor's right now. We didn't finish the heads today, which is Wednesday. He told me to just leave them there and he'll get them done, which is awesome, by the way, the fact that he's just willing to help me out that much. So he'd shout out Victor. Much appreciated. Hopefully he does get them done tomorrow. Using the hollow punch works surprisingly well. I didn't think that'd work just like that, but it did. Ideally, I would have, I think Blue Point makes a tool that it looks kind of just like a punch for that, and you just smack it with a hammer, and it looks, from all the videos I've seen, that it works like magic. But as long as they get in there, that's what matters. So hopefully he will get those done. And then we can put it together on Friday is what I'm hoping for. And then I got until next Friday to have it done. Just gonna wait it out, see, hopefully he gets that done. Just, it's a waiting game right now.